Hi, Andrew Hadro here. I'm here to do a little review and test out a new product from musicmedic.com, the Wilmington 12.5M saxophone neck. This is made for Conn saxophones. The 12.5 is a reference to the longer length of this neck. A lot of old saxophones, especially specifically Conns, sometimes play very sharp. So this is a longer neck to accommodate that intonation problem. Not all necks have that problem, and some people will tell you that it's because of modern mouthpieces, although honestly I play a modern mouthpiece on a bunch of old Conns and I've never had that problem with mine. I have run across some horns that have that problem, so I think it's more of a horn-specific problem than the mouthpiece really, but that's open to interpretation. There's a number of things that are different on this neck than a regular Conn neck. I have here my normal neck for my Conn saxophone. If you're keen, you'll actually notice this is not an original Conn neck. This was the neck that came with my saxophone, but it was made basically a copy of a Conn neck. But I also have, for testing purposes, an original Conn neck that also works on my saxophone, just to compare. And I've compared my neck and this one. They're actually pretty much exactly the same. So the key differences with the 12.5 neck is obviously you'll notice it's quite a bit longer. And that will bring the pitch down. That's as if you're pulling out your mouthpiece. A longer neck will bring the pitch down. Also, I believe the bore and the inner diameters are a little bit different according to my measurements. See the article for exact measurements and things. Obviously, you'll see here this is what they call the silver satin finish. I believe it's silver plated, and then I think they sandblasted to get this sort of sateen version. Lots of close-up photos in the full article on jazzberrysax.com. You'll notice also the Octave Key system is quite a bit different. The pad in there is not only a black pad, it might be, I don't know if it's rue or just synthetic leather or just black leather, but it's an oversized pad for sure. This whole system is different. If you compare the regular Conn neck, it has two posts here, and this has a single sort of new mechanism with a very interesting looking double-headed screw system with a normal a spring in there that's providing the tension. It looks a little bit more sturdy than maybe the standard Conn neck setup. Also maybe a little easier to disassemble if you need to have work done. Another big difference is the brace. The brace here is obviously much more substantial and also a different design. Instead of a strip that is soldered right to the bottom of the neck in one piece, it's actually more of like a bridge brace or something like that. I believe the blue you see on there is just protective coloring or leftover from the design. That's not, I don't think, part of the actual design. But that brace should be a little bit more sturdy. I'd have to see in practice the difference, after using it for a long time. A few more differences. One really big difference that I noticed, the octave stem, the pip, is more like you'll find on the actual saxophone up towards the top. It's not just a straight sort of chimney design. Look at the photos in the article for close-ups on that, or maybe I'll put them in the video right here so you can see, and I believe that makes a huge difference. Conns have this problem often where you're playing like A with the octave key or B, they have a really loud hiss, and some people will do things like put a nylon covering there or do different things to try and disrupt the airstream to get rid of that hiss, but I've never had it work. I've tried all that. I've brought it to several repairmans. It's just something you deal with. This neck does not have that problem at all, and that might be related to that pip. Also, you'll notice the angle is quite a bit different, and again, the pictures will show this more in detail. The angle is actually farther up, so that when you're playing, it actually raises you up a little bit more. That's personal preference, whether you like that or not. I don't believe the necks I have here are really pulled down, or they're all pulled down the exact same amount. Necks often, after a lot of years, can get pulled down, but I think these are actually pretty correct. So I think this one actually is intentionally a higher angle, or maybe it was modeled after a neck with a higher angle. The only other difference, other than just the aesthetic and the feel, the tip here. On a lot of old Conn necks, they have sort of a ridge at the end here. So I'll show you in the photos, but here it just is a straight sort of cut at the end. Whether that's intentional or just an easier manufacturing thing, or if it has any difference, I don't know. Seems like the ridge might be a little more protective of the edge, but shouldn't be an issue either way. Tenon length can vary quite a bit from horn to horn. Conns have this issue with the receiver where the tenon of the neck goes in. Some people change it out, some people think it's a really big issue. Again, this goes back to probably a lot of times people having intonation issues. Old Conns sometimes just have intonation issues. You know, any old horn honestly does, new horns too. So I actually compared the tenon length. It's actually shorter than the neck I normally use, but it actually matches up more closely with the other two original Conn neck tenon lengths. So I think that is actually should match pretty much most necks out there. Now this is silver plated, so that will affect the sound a little bit. You can get this neck actually in brass, satin brass, which I believe is just sand blasted. Again, you get that sort of not quite sparkly, but sort of the matte finish on it. Silver plate, silver satin, gold plate, or gold satin. The silver plating and the gold plating add extra cost to that. The cost, I believe, for this, according to their website, you can order right now, and the cost is $750 without the plating. Oftentimes in old Conn saxophones, the neck gets lost somewhere along the way, or it's destroyed, or it's damaged, so it's really nice to be able to have a replacement option now. And a lot of people will go and get a neck from like a later Conn made in the 60s, 70s, or later, and they'll use that. That's not an ideal replacement, and generally those necks I don't think are made as well. Those Conns are generally not considered as good quality. So it's nice to be able to have an outlet where you can buy a newly made neck that will fit. I should also mention there is available just regular Conn 12M necks that don't have this extension to bring down the tuning too. So whether you're looking to get a new neck to address some intonation issues, or just to get a new neck or a replacement neck or another option, you can do both of those things. A few more notes. I would really recommend measuring, if you can, your receiver's diameter, because the first time I went to try these at the Navy Saxophone Symposium a couple years ago, I actually couldn't get the neck in my horn because my receiver was too small. When I talked to the Music Medic people, they were very helpful, and I gave them the exact size of my tenon, and they actually resized, or the exact size of my receiver, and they resized the tenon to fit. They also shaved down the cork and matched it to what I sent them would be my mouthpiece size. So that was very nice of them, and I'd recommend having that done if you're going to order one of these necks, because again, that can change quite a bit from horn to horn depending on use and if your receiver's been replaced or things like that. Now, one important thing is if you look at the horn and the lineup of the neck and the back part of the neck that controls the octave key, the arm, you can see that it's different on each horn too. On this one, it actually ends up being a little low for my horn. So that's something maybe you'd have adjusted by a repairman. When I try this out, I'm going to put on a little extra bit so that it'll still function correctly on my horn. And I may try it on a few different horns to see how it works too. I'll be interested to see how this plays. I'll give you a little demonstration for you guys so you can hear it play my regular neck and this neck. And also I'll show you some tuner excerpts so you can see whether the intonation is changed between these two. Alright, if you have any questions, be sure to reply to this video on YouTube or check out the full article on jazzberrysax.com. I'm going to have a lot more pictures, a lot more explanation, a lot more details on there. So check that out. And yeah, musicmedic.com, it's the neck that they're making there. They make them in-house. They're not made in a different country and shipped in. And it's great because a lot of people are making tenor necks now. Kim Bach in Queens in New York City. There's been Glozier necks. There's been the wood necks. There's all sorts of options for alto and sometimes tenor, so it's nice to have a baritone option. I will also mention that if you're looking for a replacement for a Buescher or Bisher or a Martin, I believe those are also on the Music Medic site. So lots of the American horns that don't necessarily get the love, but are very popular amongst baritone players, you now have an option to get a replacement neck if yours is damaged or lost or long, or you just want to try something new. Alright. So here is my regular neck with my Conn 12M saxophone. My 12M is from about 1952. It doesn't have the rolled tone holes, but it is before the factory moved to Mexico. Regular lacquer. My setup, I've got a Van Doren V5 Series B95 here with a ZZ 2.5 reed, Van Doren leather ligature. I play Van Doren stuff. So here it is. I'm going to give you a couple different things with my neck and setup so you can hear them. I'll play the same things on the other neck so you can hear them. Also give you some close-ups of some tuner images and videos so you can see how the tuning compares and whether it lowers it, how much that neck does lower the pitch. So now I'm going to play with the tuner so you can see the tuning. This is with my original neck. Alright, I've got on the 12.5 neck. Not exactly sure where to put the mouthpiece, but I guesstimated, again, like I said, I don't actually have the intonation issues this neck is made to fix on my horn, so it's going to play a little bit flat, and I'll show you exactly how flat in a second, but I just want to give you an idea of the sound that it produces. And here is the 12.5 neck with a tuner, just so you can see exactly how much the pitch has changed. So obviously you can see it's almost a quarter step difference, which is a tremendous change. I could actually go farther in or out with my mouthpiece too, so you've got a huge range. If you need to bring that pitch down, you could bring it almost more than a quarter step, probably less too if you push your neck all the way, push your mouthpiece all the way in on the neck. So hopefully you can hear the difference between the necks. I think there's a pronounced difference. This neck actually might be a little brighter, a little more projection. The response is very good, maybe even a little better than mine. Obviously, I think it would play even better without the 12.5 version because it'll actually be more in tune. The horn is designed to play in tune, so when the notes are in tune, they actually respond even better. So I am planning on definitely getting one of the regular 12M necks. I'll probably go with the regular brass one. The satin finish is not for me. Some people like it, some people don't. Aesthetically, I prefer just the regular old lacquer or the look of an old horn or bare brass or things like that, but personal preference. Yeah, so I'm excited to try it out. I think it'll be a nice to have another option, another neck. I've got a couple Conn baritones, so it'll be interesting to try it on them and see how it changes. The neck is very important to the intonation, the sound of the horn in general. Generally, when you start at the top, it's the most important thing, and it gets less important as you go down. Obviously, the mouthpiece and the reed and you and your armature make the sound, and the neck is also very important, and then you get to the rest of the horn and the pads and things like that. So yeah, hopefully that was informative for you. If you want to check out more stuff on jazzberrysax.com, be sure to visit there. Check out the whole article. There's more pictures, like I said. You can subscribe to the video feed here if you want to see what I'm doing and get the latest videos from me. Otherwise, thanks for checking this out, and hopefully it helped you. Be sure to check out musicmedic.com. We've got lots of cool things, tools, supplies, repair supplies. They're always doing interesting stuff. Kurt Alterac and his entire repair crew do great work, and they're very nice and very cool people, so check that out.